If you're watching this later and you want to jump to the meditation, check the pinned comment below and click the number. Let's roll for those watching live.
The pinnacle of human perspective.
Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I see I left my short intro up there. I was recording earlier today, but no problem. We are here. It is 8:06 Eastern. And for me, it's 7 on 7/7. So I got my 3 7s. And I saw your comment last week on one of the posts, Eileen, that said that you had an awakening experience back in 77 on 7/7. So here it is 41 years later.
Wow.
And you're that much more awake, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that much more tired. Yeah, I was like a shop. I was in a shop and I was writing down the date for people on paper receipts over and over and over. And we didn't have to put down the 19. So I kept writing 7/7/77. And it just hit me like on the 10th time that was a really important number, like really synchronistic. But then we had it again on 8/8/88, right? 9/9/99.
Wow. So,
when's our next one? When are we going to have the next date where the month, the day, and the year without the 20 in front of it is all the same? The last was 12/12/12.
Oh,
December
right.
12th, 2012 was the last one for a while.
Yeah, and before that we had 1/11/11 or 11/11/11.
Yeah, that's it
That's
until the
gonna be
next
a while,
century,
isn't it?
folks. Yeah, I think it's like 100 years before we get. No, it'll have to be the end of this century, right? Yeah.
Yeah, if you can leave off the century mark, then you would have.
If you can leave off the 2 and the 0, and you go 9/9/99, that will be September 9th, 2099.
Yeah, so it should do it for. Let's see, it should start in what? In the 50s, the 40s,
40s, 30s, 20s, 11s.
Yeah, I
Will it
guess
start in the 11s?
I think so. So let's see. So 22.
Wait about 10/10/10. 10/10/10. October 10th, 2010. We already had that. Sorry.
Right. So
we already had the 11s. We had the 12s. There are no 13s, right?
I guess we'll have. I guess the next one's 2/2/22 then, right?
Okay. 2/2, February 2nd, 2022.
That's my best friend's birthday. That's cool.
Oh my God, that seems so far from now.
I know it does, doesn't it? But it'll be here before we know it. So welcome to everybody in the chat. Biker Babe. Big
hey, Biker Babe.
Michelle's
opinions. Hi, guys. Hey,
Michelle. She had an issue with her call-in number today, and I had to jump in there and save the day. I got to be the hero. It was awesome. Felt great.
Awesome. You got to be live on our show. How cool is that?
It was cool.
I usually catch them on replay because any of the daytime shows, I'm usually out working or out grocery shopping or something.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I had to dip out in the middle to pick up my wife from work, but was listening while I was out.
I saw a little bit of Jose at the powwow, but I was driving to the pool, but I got to catch some of that. It was a short one.
Oh, yeah, earlier today. I think I was in the middle of an interview with a lady named Deborah, who has a wonderful story. I was actually going to pre-record it and then air it, but we ended up talking for almost, I think, around 2.5 hours. I was recording. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to go back and edit this.
Did you say 10.5?
2.5 hours. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? This is awesome. People are going to want to, chime in with us. We should just do it live, because she was bringing up a lot of old books and old prophecies and things that I know will resonate with the audience. So, I just think it'd be great that they can chime in and say, oh, I read that book way back then too, to remind people of things they've read. Plus she has all these supernatural experiences she's going to share. So I think we're going to get her on. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We're still trying to figure that out of next week. So.
Like when you redid the Celestine Prophecy, that brought back a lot of memories for people.
Yeah, and she's read like thousands of books. So she's like this wealth of information. And she's humble, so she doesn't even realize it. Like, who wants to hear what I have to say? I'm like, you have no idea how much information you have. And she's really objective with her research, like we try to be. And she's people that love her, so I want to definitely.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to hearing Jim Self. I watched that video that you uploaded, his latest one.
Yes.
Just the way I remember him, because I think I went through a phase of where I watched like 10 or 12 videos, and then I had enough and I moved away for a bit. So
Yeah.
it's good to go back now.
Yeah, it really is. That's funny how we do that. We go through these little spurts and stuff. And I loved his work like a year ago, but he was talking about this process taking a little bit longer, and people were spitting out dates at that point. And I'm like, I'm going to go with the dates. I'd rather get out of here quicker. So it's funny how, like, it's not that he didn't resonate with me. It's just that my own personal desires was like, I'd rather this happen pretty quick. But now I'm totally cool with it. He's got these great tools to offer to really just real simple, you know, sort of like the Ion Discourse.
Well, I thought so. I thought he was very simple in his approach.
Yeah, and, very practical.
Yeah, and he's just a very kind of peaceful guy to listen to. I think I went to sleep to that one last night, and I was just listening to the whole hour. He's like me. He's old school. If you've been like doing this for like decades and decades and decades, you don't feel the same about timelines. You're too old to jump on timelines. That's more of a youth thing, don't you think?
Right. Probably so, yeah.
Yeah.
And it hurts you too, because if you get your hopes up so high for a date and then it comes and goes, it really does hurt your growth, because, you know, you can't help but kick back and say, oh, it's finally almost over. I can just relax, you know, and then it doesn't come and you're like, what now? You know, so I think, you know, sort of ignoring the dates. Yeah. I hope for things to happen soon, but I see things happening all the time. I mean, it's not this, you know, shift to 5D in a single day, but I see things, amazing things happening. And
yeah, I'm starting to see them too. Last night's show was really good, and it was interesting because your regulars who are used to Unbiased and On the Fence covering any topic were really comfortable with one of your callers when she was talking about QAnon. I thought that was kind of cool. I really enjoyed it. Although I was like throwing in, well, I think, I really enjoyed hearing her perspective. But there were just a few who were like, oh my God, what's wrong? You know, this isn't a political channel. Why is this happening? You know, it actually hurt them. It sounded like it hurt them to listen. But then a lot of your oldsters, like me and Michelle from Michelle's Opinions and a few others, were going, no, it'll shift to something else in a few minutes. You know, we cover all topics. Anything to do with life on planet Earth can be talked about. You know, there's no, nothing's barred, right? Nothing's bad.
That's what I was talking to Biker Babe afterwards. She said a couple of people were getting uneasy about it. And I was like, but you know, it's like people get so involved with the political view that it makes it hard to just kind of look at it, you know, without really throwing your chips on a certain thing or whatever, you know, because we all got our ideas, but who knows really, you know? And I think it's hard not to, you know, even though I'm optimistic about stuff, I don't know, you know, I'm just trying to
we don't know.
Put a good face on it. And I really don't know. And I'm only optimistic because I'm hopeful, but not because there's anything that I see that I'm like, well, look at that. That's for sure, you know, going this way or that way. I don't know, because so much is such a lie these days. You don't know what you can believe.
I know, so you just stay open. You expect the best, but you stay open to the possibilities of the things you're being told are not necessarily the things that are actually going to happen, but that's okay because you're okay with that. Yeah, it's like going with the flow. Or would you rather be an oak tree in a hurricane, or would you rather be the willow? And the willow bends with the wind and it doesn't break because it's not so stuck in its ways, you know, that this is the only way, so that it can bend and go with the flow as things come. But okay, now that we're talking about last night's show, I did that for a reason. I brought that up for a reason.
Nice segue.
Yeah, thank you. It's a fake segue. See, I'm so honest. I tell people like, oh, funny we mentioned that today. I found out today that there's something called Amendment 28. Has anybody heard about Amendment 28?
No.
This is big. This is really, really big. Okay, so somebody sent me something and I just briefly looked into it. So I'm not an expert, okay? So 35 states have filed suit in federal court. This is so awesome, to create the 28th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. And all they need is 38 states. We're 3 states away. Now you may say, Eileen, why are you bringing up politics? This doesn't affect us. But listen to this amendment. This amendment is so cool. I didn't look who drafted it, like who originated it. It states that our lawmakers have to abide by the laws that they impose on us. Why is that such a big deal? Why do we need an amendment for it? Because currently our lawmakers in the Senate and the House of Representatives, our Congress people, they do not have to pay student loans. If their kids go to college, they go for free. Their aides their kids don't have to pay back student loans. They get free college. They don't even have to use the federal medical plan that we're under right now. Remember, what was that? The Obamacare. What's it called? I forgot.
The Health Care Act or something.
Whatever we have to go by. Yeah, they're exempt. They do not have to abide. They don't have to pay a fine if they don't use it. We do, right? And the most interesting thing is a member of Congress cannot be sued for sexual harassment. They're immune. So what's happening is we don't want to hear this because we want to keep our vibrations high, but the lawmakers, they're passing laws for us, but then they're passing laws that exempt them from the laws for us. So by 35 states already having filed suit, we need 3 more. So, we got to pray for that, guys. That means that our lawmakers will have to abide by any laws that they create. So are they really going to create laws that are going to be dangerous to their children? Right. In terms of food and medicine and healthcare? No. So to me, that is one step closer to 5D Earth.
Definitely, where everybody's treated the same. Yeah.
When you talk about lawmakers abiding by the laws of the land and not having special privilege, that's like 5D Earth. It's coming closer. It's coming.
Baby steps, but we're getting there.
And that's a big one. That's a really big one to see that we're this close, guys, to a 28th Amendment. Because, they don't make an amendment every year. That's kind of a special thing, don't you think?
Definitely, yeah. And that was sort of my whole thing. I know things are going to work out, and it could work out with things the way people think. But even if it doesn't, it's going to work out some other kind of way. I'm not worried about the overall picture. I'm just sort of observing and enjoying the way things look and are turning out. Are you hearing me okay? I think I'm really delayed for you. Yeah. Maybe the internet's a little spotty. But
yeah, my internet seems to be clear tonight, and yours seems to be a little bit in and out.
It's coming through the other computer. Maybe something between you and I is slow or something. Could be.
But anyway, I brought that up because it's kind of nice to see 5D Earth appearing around us. A little bit here, a little bit there. You catch things around you that are moving in the right direction for us bringing 5D Earth through 3D. Some people think it's here already, but we just can't see it. Like it's here and we're starting to get the vision of it. It pops in and out. Have you heard that? I think Jim Self talks about that, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's sort of like we're shifting the radio station up, and sometimes you get up to where you can, pick it up, and sometimes you're back down and where you're in the 3D range, but it's like our frequencies are shifting. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense thinking of it like that, because I really don't think we're going to go anywhere.
No,
I think
I don't either.
Earth is, even the law of 1 talks about how densities 4 through 7, because it's sort of like an octave. So like somebody left a comment, what's 3D and 4D and 5D? Why are we skipping 4D? And I think it's real helpful to look at the densities, because they explain in the law of 1, like density 1 is like earth, wind, fire, and water. And then, which, earth covers rocks and things like that, minerals. And then 2 gets into the plants and the animals. And then the humans are like on the 3rd density. And then he says, Ra, the channeled being on the law of 1, says 4 through 7 would be visible to us. They're only not visible because they don't want to be visible, because it takes too much energy to make themselves as solid as we are, or something is how it was worded. I kind of went back over it, but you can look into that one. Yeah, at the law of 1.info, and there's a category for densities, and you can read through it. But I think that's a little bit more helpful, because people automatically, when you think of dimensions, you think of up, down, left, and right, and forward and backwards, and then you think of the time dimension, and I think it's all connected. You can do that, but then when you think of the 5th dimension, you have to sort of go into frequency. How fast are things moving in those lower 4 ones, you know? And then you kind of jump higher and higher in frequency as you go up to 7. But some people say there's 13 dimensions and 9, and so who knows really, right?
I think Tesla saw 24 dimensions, but he did that through astral travel. So when you mention the name Tesla, people think he probably saw it in a microscope. He did the same thing we're doing. He meditated.
Yeah, and I think he was contacted and shown stuff. I really did.
He said he was.
Yeah.
He said that the information was coming to him from off-world. So everybody thought he was crazy.
Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I love the Tesla stories. Dolores Cannon used 5D Earth, I think because she said fourth dimension was time. Didn't she hold that the fourth dimension was time as well?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're here. We're moving in our 3 dimensions, plus we're moving through time. So I think she just described it as 5D Earth. That's what the consciousness, super consciousness that she tapped into always called it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think in the Law of One, even there was a point that said we were in 4D. And for the longest time, I thought it was a typo because sometimes there was mistakes made with numbers during the translation of, for some reason, it was hard for Ra to like switch because they're not about time or whatever. So sometimes they would take a 0 off or add 1 or mess up the numbers and stuff. Like when they were talking about Jesus, they said he was 5th dimensional before he came here, but they made a mistake and said he was really about to go into the 5th density before he came back and incarnated as like a star seed or light worker or whatever you want to call it. So there was some mistakes, and then they would come back and clear it up. They never came back and cleared up the fact that we had gone into the 4th density around at the time of that channeling in the early 80s, and that we were waiting for what they called harvest, which was 5th density, to happen. And that was sort of why we were in a special place, is because we were moving quickly because the earth was moving with us. So I need to really revisit that. It's been like a year, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, I haven't read those. I read all the books, but like 10 years ago. Yeah. So I can't grasp all the facts anymore.
Yeah, same here. Even a year later.
I don't know. Yeah, well, you've read so much since then. I do know that the harvest is nothing to fear. A lot of people think that's the Anunnaki coming down to harvest souls, but it's the, what is it? It's the 4th density harvest of souls in service to others moving up.
It's more of a graduation. It sounds bad because you think harvest is plucked out.
But Jesus said harvest, didn't he? Didn't he use the harvest?
Jesus used. So yeah, and separating the wheat from the chaff and all of that comes from that whole symbology of, harvesting at harvest time. You got to imagine at the time that he was doing these parables years ago. And stuff, that's all they really had was hunting and farming.
The harvest.
Right. It was, and the whole thing with the season, and he used it all the time with using the fig tree as an example and animals, because there wasn't a lot to go off of back then,
No, they couldn't use the other, analogies that we can come up with now.
And that was a time when everybody pretty much had to do some farming for themselves, right? I mean, there wasn't a grocery store.
Probably.
There's probably a lot of bartering and stuff, but, everybody probably did some kind of farming for themselves.
I would imagine everybody had a garden if they could have the space for it, but who knows?
Right.
I've been reading some alternate history that says that the popes, especially the popes who were Caesars as well in Rome, they didn't like the numbers that their reign began on. So they'd add 100 years. They'd add 200 years. One pope started his reign in the year 1000, and he was only 3 years away from it. So they kept changing the calendar. So if you remove all the times that the popes messed with the emperors, they were emperors too, messed with time, our calendar, we're anywhere between 1200 and 1700 after the death of Jesus. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
That's a big difference, don't you think?
Yeah, that's crazy. We don't know because our lives are so short that, who can keep up with it,
I mean, this could be like 1736, right? We just don't know it.
Oh, wow. That's really crazy to think about.
It is. If you can actually search out some YouTube videos on they're mostly Russian and Eastern European scientists who are digging up what they say is proof that the Gregorian calendar, is that what it's called, is just completely make-believe.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard people saying it's off as much as 5 years, but you can't really go back in time. So if they ever tampered with it, they'd always have to jump forward, because if you jump back, then you're going to overlap. You know what I'm
they always
saying?
jump forward. And if you count up all the jumps forward, we could be in the 1700s, we could be in the 1200s, and anywhere in between.
See, that would be me. I'm like, let's just jump it forward to 1111. That's cool.
I mean, could you imagine if Jesus walked the earth 1,200 years ago? It just makes you feel like closer to him. You know, it's like he's not that far away.
Yeah. I know.
Or Buddha.
Right. I would think the same thing when I was reading through the stories of the Bible. I was thinking, you know, Jesus was 2,000 years ago, but like before him, I think it was Abraham was 2,000 years before that. And before him, it was Noah, I think was 2,000 years before him, just according to the Bible's chronology or whatever. And it was like, wow, I'm as close to Jesus's time as Jesus was to like Abraham's time. And, you know, or
as Abraham was to Moses' time. And then some people are bringing forward some old texts that say Moses wasn't even like from earth. I find that interesting. I'm not saying I believe it, but it's fascinating. I love reading that stuff, you know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So have you read any more of, or how has the class been going with,
Yeah, the class is over. We're going to have one more repeat class on January, on July 11th. She's going to repeat the first class. So it's kind of a 3-day powerhouse delivered in a week. But I have a few bits to share from the book.
And we're talking
and then
about
I have a list of
Lynne McTaggart, for you guys that don't know, The Power of 8 book by Lynne McTaggart. Do you have a copy to show? To hold up? Or isn't that with you? It's fine. I do have the link below. Oh, there it is.
Did you just call me Michelle? I think you just said Michelle.
No.
That's because you know so many Michelles. Okay. So the other thing is I've been receiving requests for meditation subjects, and so have you. So we just have to kind of like throw them all together. And I've got a little list of thank yous to people who have given us requests. How about you?
Yeah. So we had, of course, the 5D, which I think we're going to do tonight, right?
Yeah, 5D tonight. Let me pull up. Can you guys still see me?
I said to show. That's what sounded like Michelle, I think. I said, do you have the book to show?
Oh, the book to show. See, I've only got one earbud in because if I put two in, I can't hear anything. And then I'm partially deaf anyway. So you should see what I do to song lyrics. You know, I'll be singing them along and I just make them up as they come out. You know, like my daughter thinks it's hysterical. Okay, so thank you, Carolina. Carolina suggested that we did the group meditation for vets. Now, what's interesting about that one is tonight's reading, the chapter on the holy instant, is about what you said about feeling like you were out of time. And there was no time while you were doing these. She touches on that. And she also touches on the higher frequencies that come in while you're out of time together doing this group prayer, this group meditation. And on Shane's video, if you look at, I removed it in the notes because in the comments, I just thought if people see it, they see it, you know, maybe I'll mention it in the show, but I'm not going to put the comment down. But if you look at the last one we did for veterans at the timestamp 5505 and 5507 on the words love and on the words forgive, the video goes crazy. It just breaks up. Did you see that, Shane? Did you have a chance to go back?
Yeah, I actually left a comment under there saying that I've never seen anything like that in any of my videos.
Neither have I.
That was
Neither
weird.
have I.
These colorful squares or something.
Did you see the writing inside the colors? It's like
it is. That's wild. And it did it right with the words love and forgiveness or something.
Forgiveness. I'm like, what? So I went through the video frame by frame on my editing system. I use the free one called KindMaster. Sounds German, beautiful Android editing system. And there's not a single scramble of video until you get to those words love and forgive. Now, the colors I got through were red, white, and blue. And I uploaded just that meditation on the 4th of July. And I think your colors were red, white, and blue. I don't think there were a lot of other colors, but red, white, and blue. And it was the meditation for the vets.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
And then if you guys have a way to look at the scrambling frame by frame, you'll see a bunch of geometric designs in the colors, especially the white. But they're in all the colors. There's like these lines of colors, and then inside them are geometric designs.
Yeah, that's really wild the way that happened. I wonder, I could probably, while you're reading that, I can probably pull it up.
So, Jacob, I wanted to say thank you, Jacob, for submitting the channeling meditation from the beings of Akasha. That was like the second week, and that was one of the videos that when Shane was trying to get it to re-upload to be played, we lost the sound. We just didn't get sound quality, I guess, in the process of emailing and uploading a recording. You lose some of the sound. Melissa, thank you so much for submitting, again, a very quiet video by the time we tried to re-upload it on New Earth. So we're going to do yours tonight. I thanked Carolina for the meditation on the vets. Jenny from New Zealand, she suggests that we do a meditation for people who feel suicidal and people who are feeling stuck in a dark place. So that would be a really good one to do. I don't know if it's going to naturally come in today's with 5D Earth that we're going to do for Melissa, or if we should do it like next week on its own. We'll do it like first come, first serve. And Sandra, thanks for suggesting that we redo the first meditation, healing Earth, healing others, healing you again. I put that in my video yesterday at the end of the shift versus the event, like looking at the different definitions of the shift and then looking at the similarities it has with the event. And that's the one where we were holding Earth, Shane. Do you remember? You said you really liked that because we were holding Earth and loving Earth.
Yes, I did love that one.
So maybe someday we'll redo that one live again too. And those are mine. How about you? What suggestions did you get through?
One was for terrorism, and one was for our leaders, which we sort of touched on that one in the abundance one, but we could revisit it more on the whole, just leaders doing the right things and, you know, making the right choices.
Now, okay, we did that last week too. Okay, it's a coincidence, I know, but how do we know that Amendment 28 was on the cards last week? I mean, I know that sounds crazy, okay, but how do we know? Suddenly today, somebody sends me something that the state leaders are trying to make the leaders in Washington honest by making them abide by the laws that they create. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, we're working on this stuff and it's happening, and I can't say that it happened before we worked on it or it happened after. Oh, there we go. Look at that red, white, and blue.
Yeah, look, it's like red, white, and blue. I hadn't realized that because it goes so fast when you're watching.
You've got a little bit of green in there too. My editing program has no green.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just kind of paused it because it flickers really fast. You can see
white and blue.
Yeah. You don't really notice the green though. It's almost like the black is getting washed out rather than you know.
It's only on the word heart. No, it's on the word love, and it's on the word forgive.
Forgive,
and it's at the end of the meditation, so we're really in our meditative states.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was awesome seeing that.
That was cool.
Because not the typical kind of interference you see. You know what I mean? It's like, it was just weird. So
I went back and I looked at my other videos and I looked at our other meditations. It doesn't exist anywhere else. It is quite unique. I thought maybe I just noticed it for the first time, so I better go back and look at our other meditations and see if I see it, and there's no colorful red, white, and blue interference patterns like that. That's really cool. You guys can see it yourself. Go back to last week's Power of 8 at 8 on Shane's channel.
That was 5505 and 5507.
5507. Yep. And it's on the word love, and then it's on the word forgiveness, which brings up a couple of people have mentioned they thought that we were supposed to only focus on the positive. That goes back to like the laws from Abraham, Esther Hicks, where what you think about comes about, which is true. I mean, if you concentrate on your problems every day, those problems will probably get magnified. But you're actually allowed to look at what's wrong. And instead of going, whoa, there's something wrong there, I got to run away, I can't look at that because it'll bring my vibration down, you can actually send a prayer, a meditation, a ho'oponopono to clear it and clean it. And what you're doing is you're throwing the opposite of karma at it. So you've got something that's way down here. And when you focus on lifting it up and healing it, you're pushing it up here. And somewhere in the middle, it's going to meet, right? So you're kind of giving the opposite of the cause and effect so that you can balance it more. Otherwise, we wouldn't be meditating and praying at all because there'd be no point.
That was sort of my reasoning with the abundance, to take those feelings of lack and sort of let them dissolve away into a feeling of abundance. So it's sort of transforming those negative feelings into a positive feeling. So I guess, yeah, if you're like, you know, focus on the negative, it's bad. But yeah, if you're transmuting it or transforming it or, you know, dissolving it away and replacing it, I think it's a little bit different than if you're like, you know, help me not be sick rather than help me be healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And somebody asked Lynne during the Master Healing class on the Power of 8, or the Power of 8 for healers. They said, how can that be? How can we focus on healing what's wrong? Because that's negative. Doesn't that make it worse? And she said, I think I took some notes on it, which I don't have in front of me, so I'm going by my memory. She said something like, don't use negative words like, okay, if somebody has cancer, we're not going to kill their tumor. We're not going to destroy their tumor. Those are negative attack words. But she said, if you're healing, you're praying and meditating to heal someone, you can say the words pain, tumor. We remove so-and-so's pain. We shrink so-and-so's tumor. You're allowed to say the words tumor and pain because that's the focus of what you're fixing. But you don't have to use words that are negative attack words. You can do it in a gentle, loving way.
You can name something as the noun, but the action should be more of a positive action to it rather than.
That's what she said.
I got you.
She said, you know, from her intention experiments and 30 years of working on this, what she found was there are sometimes you can't avoid the negative word. No matter how you try to get around it, if that's what you're working on for somebody, the word's going to come out. But you're not adding to its negativity. You're ameliorating it. You're doing the opposite. You're naming the problem, but you're sending love to it. You're sending health to it. You're fixing it.
You're shrinking.
Balancing it.
Right, I got you.
You're removing somebody's pain. You're shrinking their tumors. Those are all positive words, she said, to go ahead and use.
Right, I got you.
So I guess it kind of does allow us to be light workers and change our reality without putting on blinkers and blinders and saying, I don't see it. Nope, that's not happening. We go, okay, it's happening. Now let's send love to it. You know, let's fix it.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I have people say that all the time. You know, it's like, you can't just ignore all the bad stuff. It's like, no, but I know it's happening. There's plenty of channels that's discussing it. It's not like I'm ignoring it. It's just I'm choosing to put my energy into the positive things. So I know those things are there, but why do I want to constantly feed energy into those fearful things?
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like dwelling on the negative, growing the negative. But we face the negative on this show, and then we heal it. We transform it. We transmute it. We transmute negative energy with our positive, heartfelt energies.
Definitely, yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of like doing a little bit of both. It's hard to describe this to people, though, is it? Why it's okay to look at things that you can fix with these group prayers.
Yeah, and you know? Just to bring up last week, that was so heavy, but I thought it was necessary, you know, with the veterans. I could feel there's a lot of pain surrounding that whole subject. And I can totally see it was definitely needed. And I could feel a lot of energy going through to people dealing with that. And so it got a little heavy, but at the same time, I felt like it did a lot of good, you know.
Yeah, I felt it was really heavy, but it felt really positive. You know, as soon as I got my energy back, I felt very calm, very peaceful. Did you?
Oh,
I felt
yes,
like
definitely.
real mellow
Mm-hmm.
in a good way, not in a
Right.
bad way. I told Jenny and I have been in touch a little bit since this, you know, a few emails
From
and
New
stuff like
Zealand?
that. Yeah. And I said to her, I said, something really funny happened after the show last week that I haven't told anybody till now. And I said, I'm not sure if it's an effect of the meditation that we did or if it's sympathy pains. You know how men can feel labor pains when their wives are in labor? Well, apparently I'm very sympathetic to Jenny's aching neck that was healed. You know, she had that dizzy spell, and then she woke up and all the pain in her neck and her back were gone.
Mm-hmm.
So right after last week's show, I thought I was well grounded. I thought I'd grounded myself. My daughter has a puppy, and we have pee pads down. And if anybody's had a puppy and a pee pad, it's 2 layers. And if they pee on it and you step on it, it's like hydroplaning. There's like the layers are not touching. So I didn't know that. And I got up and I walked across the living room, and the puppy had peed on the pad, but I didn't know it. And I went flying up into the air. I landed on this chair behind me. I fell to the floor on my right knee. My knee's fine. You know, I didn't break anything. But in the process, I stretched the ligaments in my neck so I can turn my neck 100% now. And I'm like, why can I see this now? Because after a whiplash accident since 2013, I could only turn my neck about this far. And this one was my good one. So now when I measure the good one, that's now my bad one. And my bad one, which was, you know, pretty, they got it as far as they could. And then they said the ligaments, when they heal like leather. And they're really hard to stretch. So now this one, I can almost turn my head completely around like an owl. You know, I've never had that much movement in this side of my neck. So I said to Jenny, I said, it could be because of the meditation, or it could have been, you know, simpatico. Isn't that what they call it? When something happens to someone and you care about them, boom, it happens to you.
Right. That's wild.
Isn't it? I mean, but it was freaky. It was like, it was a freak accident. It was like I slipped on puppy pee.
So it was like your angel was doing some chiropractic work on you or something, maybe.
Yeah, big time.
That's cool.
Landed on the back of the chair, which is leather, so it was comfy. Fell down to one knee, but in the process hit my neck, and it just took those ligaments and went. Wah. So I got a free stretch of my ligaments. So I just had to share that with the group because I thought that, you know, obviously I wasn't very grounded, was I? If I'm flying around my living room.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Yeah, that's weird how things just happen and work out that way. And, you know, they're coincidental for those that don't
It's
realize.
a nice coincidence.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the comments have anything? We'd love to hear if anything wonderful happens to your relationships, your finances, your health. So here's just a few bits before we do the 5D Earth meditation.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of you, Shane. It's chapter 8. It's called The Holy Instant. And this is when people get together and entrain their hearts and their minds and do a group meditation. They move beyond time and space, where all sense of individuality disappears and you exist in a state of union. The Course in Miracles refers to this as the Holy Instant. That was a great course. I recommend that for everybody. It takes about 2 years to get through it. You do it yourself or in a group with a book. Parapsychologist Dr. Charles Tart refers to this state as cosmic consciousness. Do you remember when you were describing last week how you felt, Shane, when you came out of it? Most mystical experiences include a sense of inner light, a palpable feeling of energy, which is like those distortions on those words in the last video.
Mm-hmm.
Those were real signs of energy, right?
Definitely.
And some say a power surge. So weren't those distortions like little mini power surges as well?
Totally, yeah.
I'd love to hear from a video producer technician, what causes video to go into the reds, the whites, and the blues? What kind of a surge makes video split up into bands of just color?
Right, because the weird thing is they work off of red, green, and blue, RGB, you know? So the fact that it was red, white, and blue is just strange.
Red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was red, green, and blue. Some of the participants feel weepy during and after, and quite often we feel very like, but it's not crying from a sense of sadness, rather from a sense of connection. So apparently, if you feel a little weepy afterwards, it's because you've been connected to a lot of people, and that's not something we usually feel. Many people describe an intense altered state where time appears to stop while they're doing these meditations, which is exactly what you said last week. There's sometimes a sense of oneness with all things, not just all people, a feeling of being part of a group mind. So I don't know if we feel a part of our group or a part of the whole group, like all of humanity. I don't know if it's one or the other or both. And also a sense that this is how you feel afterwards, a sense that all things work together for the good of all. That's in the Bible, isn't it? Didn't you say that a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it's all things work for the good of those who love God or something. Michelle's opinions in here, she might be able to straighten me up.
Or Go-Kart Bob, you would know it in a minute, wouldn't you, Bob?
Probably so. Yeah, it's so nice to have other people that's knowledgeable about the Bible, because it's like, I better Google it really fast, you know. I now usually know enough of it that I can type in what I remember and the rest pops up. So that's nice. I know just enough that I can search.
Oh, yeah, you do. You know a lot. So basically, it's okay to look at the negative if you're going to try to fix it through an intention. And won't use negative action words. We'll use positive, loving action words. And that whole sense of timelessness that you keep describing is a very normal thing, according to the book.
Yeah, and I think the tears, that happens a lot whenever you're connecting with the heart, whether you feel like you're getting some kind of epiphany through intuition, or you like really help someone in a really selfless, unconditional love sort of way. It can make you really emotional. Or you see if you're just observing two people interacting in a loving, unconditional loving way, it can just touch your heart to bring you to tears. And I think it has something to do with sort of tapping into that divine part of us, you know.
I cry at movies, and I even cry at commercials now. You know, a lot of women say that when they reach my age, especially when you go through like menopause, you get more emotional, and you see a really good Hallmark commercial, you're like, wow.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's like you're crying at something happy. It's so weird, because you're a kid, you cry at sad things or from pain, but you get older and you cry at happy things. I never understood that.
Cry at happy things.
Right.
The boy finds his dog, and you're like, wow, he found his dog.
Right, exactly. It's so funny that it's like it's totally backwards, and you don't cry when it's like a sad thing. Well, sometimes, but a lot of times you don't. It's more like you feel the pain or whatever. It depends if it's a movie or a real situation. But yeah, it's real strange the way everything's backwards.
I guess we're all empaths, really. We're all empathetic to one degree or another.
Yeah, and you hardly cry for yourself. It's like always other people. It's like if it's
it's like, oh, brush yourself off, get up, just don't dwell on it, pick yourself up, you know, don't worry about your own feelings. Yeah.
But someone else in the same condition, you'll cry about it. So anyway, sorry, carrying on.
I was just saying, like, I'm amazed at how many people are artists and musicians. I keep hearing, you know, and artistic thinkers and poets and you name it. You know, this area doing what we're doing seems to be highly creative as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I see people getting more back into their crafts, whether it's singing or music or art. You know, they're getting messages to go and draw some more, or do your paintings or whatever. Get involved with that. You know,
play your instruments, write your songs. Which, I mean, I shouldn't even mention it, but Shane's a songwriter, and so am I. And we've like listened to each other's songs, and you've got a big platform here. I'm sure everybody would love to hear your songs.
Yours too.
Yeah, I know. Why aren't we putting them on? We're just not.
it's weird how your priorities shift. I'm like, yeah, it's there if people want to find it.
Yeah, I know. It's like
You can see I don't even
I don't
have.
know how
I'm
to
not
mix
even.
the two.
I'm not
Yeah.
even subscribed to my the publishing company's stuff of mine that they put out. I'm not even subscribed to the stuff, and it's like, oh. But yeah, it's just like it's out there. Someone asked if they could use the music. I felt bad because they wanted to use it while they did the art in the background. I'm like, you know what? You can't even use it without getting a copyright strike because the
Me too.
published. Yeah, it's like I own it, but the publishing company is like the watchdog. And if you put it in just like as if I was Michael Jackson, they'll flag it and recognize it. And it's Shazamable. You know, the program, if you're hearing the song, you hit Shazam. You can find the music that way, even with my music. So once it gets like that,
tell people how to find your music. What do they have to look up on
just
YouTube or on Google?
You can just Google it or look on YouTube under Shane Cornell, and the album is Transfiguration. But Shane Cornell should bring it up.
It's really good. It's really. I'm gonna go listen to it again.
And
my music's under Eileen Colts. Eileen Colts.
And what was the song?
It's on. War Song and Fire and Ice are the most popular, but
and then that brought up the other ones though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's like 9, but those are the 2 best ones. And I sold them to a publishing company, hoping somebody would pick them up and put them on an album, and I could like make a living off that, so I could do this, you know. Right. And it hasn't happened yet, but it's a big publishing company. But I can't even use the music. I don't have the permission. I don't, I have to have publishing company permission.
I could do the work to get permission, I guess. But, if I didn't, they would just see me as anybody using my music, and, instead of it being actually my music. But it's funny because I got a royalty check at the beginning of this year for like $100 because that one song, Holy, 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 has been, I don't know if it's been played on the digital I don't know how it's been getting aired, but it's been getting played. And people have been listening to it. I'm like, wow, this is the song that I was hoping like a choir would pick it up, because it seems like it would be like a decent choir song for, but who knows? And I thought if a big name choir got a hold of it, put it on their album, then I could really make some good royalties off of it, But $100 isn't bad on royalties because you're only getting change for each time.
Yeah, you get like a half a penny a play. That's what I've been told on my music. I'll get a half or a quarter of a penny a play.
So I had no idea. It was a pleasant surprise. It was one of those things when I needed money and, I didn't know how it was going to come, but bam, this royalty deposit goes into my bank account. And I'm like, what? My songs?
And it's okay. It's okay to make money on your positive work, on your music, on these channels, because some people go, oh, if it was really good, it'd be free. We don't pay for just the poison and the bad stuff and the toxic stuff in the world. We should feel really honored and blessed to pay for the wonderful, good, healthy, healing stuff that's available, whether it's a channel or music or a book. We should be willing to support our artists as much as we are having to support the people who are putting fluoride in our water and GMOs in our food, right? Got to pay them.
Yeah. And it's available for free, so nobody really has to pay for it. And if you have a streaming service like Pandora or anything
mine are
like
free too, but I think there's ads. I think the publishing company put ads on, to get that penny a play.
Right. They got to get theirs, right?
Yeah.
So, but you can skip the ads and stuff. So.
Yeah, but I did. I didn't advertise on my channel, but I was invited to, and my daughter said, "You're putting us through college. I've got to put 2 people through college," and she said, "You never know. One video might catch fire, and you might get some money that you can then use to support the family." So I went ahead and did it, and I've made $1. I've made a whole $1 of free money.
Right. That's funny. Yeah. At first I turned on the ads, and then I found out I can turn off the ones at the bottom that you click on accident that cover up some of your video. I was like,
I don't know.
Those are so annoying. I'm turning those off.
You can turn those off?
Yeah. You can just have the skippable ones. So that's all I have on mine.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
They said, which ones do you want? And I just said the beginning of the video skippable, not in the middle, not in the end, and not sponsored. I guess the ones under there is sponsored ones, right?
Right. Yeah. Anywhere that pops up and covers part of the screen, I think, are annoying because people go to minus it out or exit out. And then
I hope it's okay. Nobody's complained. Yeah. Nobody said, I'm not listening to you, Eileen, because an ad came on, So.
Right. And I don't ever do it on live streams because there's nothing more annoying than wanting to hop in a live stream and an
Oh, that'd be
ad starts
terrible.
playing, you know? So
That'd be terrible in the
Right.
middle of a meditation, you know, some horrible company comes on.
yeah, exactly. So,
Well, I'm ready if you're ready. What do you think?
I'm ready. I got to settle down a little bit. I'm all excited and happy.
Is it Melissa? Is it Melissa's 5D Earth? We're going to try to
Melissa
do tonight.
did the 5D for us, which I'm sure, you know, it was.
Oh, wait, you wanted to tell me about a suggestion that you got so we can at least mention it and put it on the list. Oh, yes. You said it was terrorism to heal and ameliorate.
Of the terrorists like ISIS and Al Qaeda and stuff. And then the other one was for leaders, which we could sort of cover that. So if you want to
cover that too. And we did leaders twice. We did leaders in abundance.
Them in with everything though, you know?
Yeah, we did leaders with the vets. So I'm trying to get everybody in. Everybody who's requested something, I'm trying to
with love, right?
Yeah, keep pounding the leaders with heart energy, love, forgiveness, so that they too feel that they have to do what's right, you know?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, we'll try to get everybody's in, but maybe not tonight. Maybe we'll have to spread it out over a couple of weeks.
Use your intuition. I trust you.
Okay, me too. Okay, I have to mute myself, right? Because I don't want to hang up. If I hung up, that would be really bad. Okay, here goes. No, mic on, video off. Did it. Okay, so I'd like to start by everybody who's here just taking a nice, soft, long, deep breath. Breathe in, hold it for a few moments. Then as you exhale, exhale out all and any negativity. Breathe in again, hold it for just a few moments, and exhale out any frustration, sadness, any bad feelings. Just exhale it out of your body. And again, breathe in a nice, long, soft, healing breath, and exhale. Now, as you begin to breathe in and out at a pace that's really comfortable for you, I'd like you to imagine that you're breathing in through your heart and you're exhaling out through your heart. And as you see yourself breathing in through your heart and exhaling out through your heart, imagine a light coming into your heart on the in-breath. And imagine that same colored light exhaling out of your heart. And as it comes into your heart, it can be any color that you like. It can even just be white or gold or silver. Imagine that you know that light is coming from not only your higher source and from the creative cosmic universe, but it's also coming from God or source, which are the same thing. Inhaling the light into your heart, exhaling it out of your heart. And as that light and that breath reaches your heart, it's going into your heart chakra, and the tremendous love that you have inside of you that's extremely unique to you mixes in with that light, that cosmic light, that light from God. And as you exhale that light out to the universe, you're actually transmuting any negativity in the world, earth, on the out-breath. So breathe in to your heart and out through your heart. And when you're ready, think of a nice, safe, quiet, beautiful place while you continue to do your heart breathing. It could be a meadow, it could be a waterfall, it could be a forest, it could be the beach, it could be a library, it could be a cave, a crystal cave. Anywhere that you feel comfortable and safe. And as you're sitting in your beautiful, or laying down in your beautiful, safe environment, imagine something that happened in your lifetime that brought you so much joy, you literally could not find words to express it. Breathing in through your heart, exhaling out through your heart. Or perhaps you're thinking of a person who brought you great joy, maybe a beloved pet. Breathing in, exhaling out. And when you're ready, you're going to let that light going into your heart and out of your heart fill your body from your head to your neck, to your chest, down your arms, down your fingers, to your tummy and your abdomen, down your thighs, your knees, your ankles, and your feet. And when you've completely filled your body with that healing, loving light, you're then going to breathe a bubble of light around you. And it goes around your head, over your head, around your chest, your arms, your shoulders, around your middle, your bottom, surrounds your legs, surrounds your feet, and under your feet. And when you're comfortable, let that light fill the room that you're currently in, and let it surround your loved ones. And when it feels right, let that love light fill the community that you live in. Breathing in and breathing out. And if it feels comfortable, let it fill your state or your province. And eventually let that light fill your country. Breathing in and breathing out. And if you're comfortable with this, let that love light surround the world, surround the earth, healing, loving, forgiving, transmuting any negativity on planet Earth. Breathing in and breathing out. And now as we breathe this love light in comfortably in and out of our hearts, we're going to imagine what 5D Earth looks like. What would you be doing in a 5D Earth differently than to what you're doing now in our 3D Earth? What would you be wearing? What would it sound like? What would it look like? What would it feel like to be living in a 5D Earth? Breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. What would you be doing differently for work, for contribution to the community? What would you be doing differently with your family? Breathing in and breathing out. And as you're imagining being in 5D Earth, imagine drawing down the energy, the frequency that 5D Earth is here currently in. Imagine drawing that down through your top head chakra, through your third eye chakra, through your throat chakra. Let it go to your heart chakra, and then send it out to the world around you so that you can help to bring 5D Earth here now. And let's bring in that frequency again through our head chakra and bring it down all of the chakras. And when it gets to the heart chakra, this time, instead of throwing it out to the world with love, we're going to shoot it down to the solar plexus chakra, which is yellow in the middle of your tummy, to your sacral chakra, which is orange, to the root chakra, the red chakra, which is at your tailbone. And we're going to fill our bodies up with the frequency of 5D Earth, so that we recognize it when we see it, when we catch glimpses of it every day in unusual ways, we'll recognize it. And also so that we can help to bring 5D Earth and that frequency here to our loved ones, to the people we care about, our family, our friends, our neighbors, our co-workers, and our leaders. Our global leaders need to become aware of the 5D frequency that's available to them, that they can tap into to make better decisions that affect everybody. More compassionate decisions, more loving decisions, more holistic decisions, more peaceful decisions. So we're bringing 5D Earth to us and through us so that others can experience the 5D ascension as well. And that makes you a beacon of light. It makes you a beacon of love. And it makes you a beacon of forgiveness to teach others how to love and forgive as well. And really how to truly live in service to others or in service to all. Because on 5D Earth, everyone has enough. There's plenty. We live in an abundant world right now here on 3D. So we know that we have abundance in our 5D version of Earth. There's enough for everybody. And everybody wants to share what they have. And if somebody is hurt or suffering, we reach out to them and we try to help them to feel better. And by doing that, we teach others how to become beacons of light and beacons of love and beacons of forgiveness too. So I'm just going to leave this concept, this feeling, this vision of 5D Earth and how that would feel, what it would look like, what it would sound like, what it would smell like, and how that would affect you and your loved ones. I'm just going to leave that with you now for a few moments to just kind of enjoy. And when you're ready, start to kind of move your fingers and your hands, move your toes a bit, move your feet, your ankles, kind of move your legs about, move your arms about, open your eyes, clear your throat, move your head to the left and the right, stretch your neck and straighten your back. And then perhaps get a nice cool glass of water and do something to ground yourself and bring you back fully into your body here in 3D Earth.
Yes, I guess we eventually have to come back until we shift for good, right?
I wonder if like anybody really drifts off enough to where they're like sleeping, like they've gone, they're like going to wake up in a couple of hours on the couch or something.
I wouldn't doubt it. I get really that same thing that happens when I'm on my own. I just got it now where I was just overwhelmingly dizzy, like my brain was releasing melatonin, and it's already stopped. I mean, I've already pulled out enough of it right now that it's not. I don't feel dizzy anymore. But right when I first came out of it, it was like, wow, I didn't realize how out of it I was getting. you know?
Yeah, and Jenny in New Zealand got dizzy and had the back and neck healed. And I might have gotten dizzy and flew off the puppy pad. Who knows? Maybe that feeling of disorientation. My hands are very warm. My hands are very hot. But I didn't feel the same compassion that I felt for the vets. That was a different kind of meditation. This one was really light and airy and beautiful. And, you know, it had a different feeling. Definitely.
I opened my eyes and I saw this business card here. I don't know. It's hard to
Ooh,
capture the colors of it, but
that's pretty.
I saw that as because I was imagining, you know, New Earth, 5D Earth. And you know how beautiful it is when you imagine like Ireland and the rolling green hills. I imagine the grass being real colorful and rainbow like that. And oh my God, it was like, because I imagine the beach like that. You know how the beaches, you'll see the beaches riddled with little shells and little broken pieces of shells and things like that. One of the things I always visualize is it riddled with gems of different colors and sparkling in the sun. And these are the types of things I imagine, because no one needs to collect all the rubies and sapphires and precious gems, because they're so abundant that you can let them lie there and just beauty up the landscape. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting, because one of the Hawaiian volcanoes was just reported to be throwing out gemstones on peridot. It was throwing out peridot, which is the green gemstone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that's where the real pretty opal comes from, is volcanoes, I think, isn't it?
New Zealand and Australian opals.
Oh,
yeah, so that's a real, you know, that's happening now. We're not used to volcanoes throwing out gemstones, and that's something that you're imagining as part of your 5D Earth. So I think Jim Self is right. I think it's here. We just can't always see it. But sometimes we catch glimpses of it, maybe.
But you can just imagine, like, if everybody didn't collect all the beautiful things to go try to sell it and make money, and you could just let it lie and just be there and beautify the whole landscape, you know what I mean? You can totally imagine a really beautiful Earth where, you know, it can sparkle in the sun and stuff, like all the different colors.
And maybe we will too, because, you know, our skin is getting more translucent. Jen's gem was the first one, like, months ago, to go look at my hand, and it would be like kind of like shimmering.
Right.
I think it's called her shimmer.
Oh yeah, I noticed that you can get in the sun now, and you can see it looks like you have little micro dots of like glitter on your hands now. It's like,
crystalline skin.
Like you're excreting crystalline or something, or it's just
that's almost like a 5D frequency thing, like going higher up in frequency. I'm certainly having more difficulty eating solids. I can't eat as many solids as I used to. I'm more craving like fruit smoothies and things like that. How about you?
Yeah, I like the health nuts smoothie.
Yeah, just more liquids, more smoothies, a little bit of solid food. I'm not off of it completely.
Right.
But that felt really good, and I'm sure everybody's vision of 5D Earth was very personal. You know, it's what you want to see, and you're the transmitter for 5D. 5D Earth is using you as kind of a radio tower, a beacon to bring 5D Earth here. Yeah.
That's nice to think that everybody brings the creative ideas to the table, and one day we get to see it all manifest. Like, who thought of that? Who thought of that? We get to discuss it, you know? You're like, I thought of that. Isn't it awesome? Who thought of the tree? I thought of that. That's awesome.
I thought of that tree. No, I thought of that tree. Right. You know, people are about, that's my Mandela effect. I discovered it first,
yeah, that's 3D, though. We won't have that. We're like, I did too. We were connected. You know, people would just be happy that they were connected with that.
Exactly.
Thought,
I was just joking. I was joking. It was not very 5D at all with me.
The joke was 5D. It's just, you know.
And, you know, if I see the gemstone beach, I'm going to think of you. I'm going to go, oh my God, I'm on Shane's gemstone beach, where every pebble is a different gemstone from the rainbow, the color of the rainbow.
Yeah, it makes me think of that movie, What Dreams May Come. You remember how they kept creating the different scenarios and stuff?
He went into paintings, didn't he, with really crazy colors in the landscape. That was a really good movie. I enjoyed that. It
really is. I went back and watched it again because it was, you know, I'm in a completely different place than I was when I first saw it, you know, and it was just, it was nice, really nice.
Whenever I finish these meditations, I feel so peaceful, and that feeling lasts for me for a couple of days. It really does. I feel like, I'm so relaxed. You
And I
know?
wonder if it's from people joining in later. It's continuing that feeling on, like, you know, Jenny in New Zealand joining in, like
3 days later.
yeah, and other people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And we have been asked to provide just the I think some of the suggestions for pulling them out is so people can go to sleep to them in a playlist. So maybe when we have extra spare time on our hands, like when, we can have a meditation playlist of just meditations. So if you wanted to turn it on, you could hit autoplay and it would go from one to the other to the other to the other and then stop. So if you were asleep, you wouldn't have to turn anything off.
Right, I see. Yeah, that would be good.
So eventually, maybe we can get a playlist of
that's
meditations.
good idea, definitely.
So that we can go to sleep to them.
Yeah, that would be great.
I go to sleep to yours. I have your abundance meditation because you pulled it out. I've got it on my sleep playlist.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. Probably to sleep to. Kind of a sleepy.
Yeah, I want meditations that I'm not afraid to sleep to, that there's like nothing negative in them, so that if my subconscious mind is listening, it's still okay. And I don't trust the like professional ones. I'm like, is there any subliminal in here? Or, you know, if they say something that I wouldn't want my subconscious mind
I
to
think that a
agree
lot with the binaural beats and stuff. I'm like, man, they could totally be hiding all sorts of stuff in there.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where, I hope I don't sound paranoid, but I'm only listening to temple sounds now. There's a man who does temple sounds, and he gets the same tones for the chakras that all of these synthetic synthesizer channels get. And he does it with crystal bowls and with, what are they called? Brass bowls? Are they brass? Tibetan bowls. He uses Tibetan bowls and crystal bowls. So I kind of feel like there's no way this guy's going to have anything subliminal. There's nothing synthesized. It's all natural. So
yeah, I actually remember I mentioned going to a crystal store earlier in the week, and they had some of those meditation bowls with the little thing, and you can. I had no idea how expensive those were.
Yeah,
I checked it out in the store, you know, but I didn't want to distract.
Could you get one to sing? Because they're not easy. Apparently, you have to ding them, and then so you got this little thing, and you go ding, and then you run around the rim with the baton.
We dinged and rubbed it a little bit, but actually, it was.
Did you get a sound? Because it's hard to get a sound out of them, apparently.
Right. Yeah, I've actually done a with my finger and a little drop of water. I was at this wedding.
Yeah, crystal.
Crystal glass.
And it goes so loud. It's like it's whirring. I always wonder if it's going to break the crystal, like if it's one of those sounds that will actually.
Because you can almost see it. You can almost see it like vibrating the glass. You know.
I like those sounds. Those again are like really good meditative sounds, aren't they? Different tones because they're different frequencies.
Those bowls, I think the one I looked at wasn't very big. It was like, I don't know, like a salad bowl or something. It was like $35 or something. I'm like, oh my God. Because I saw a video of, I can't think of his name right now. The AI guy that talks about AI. Anyway, he was like out in you know what I'm talking about, right?
Michael? Is his name Michael?
Yeah,
no.
Quinn Michaels.
Quinn Michaels.
Yeah, and he was out in the woods, and he had all these bowls around. Some of them were really big. You can tell now that I've seen.
Oh, those would be expensive.
$35. That was probably $200 bowl there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm lucky. There's a lady named Kathy in my town who does crystal bowls, and she'll play up to 18 of them in the salt cave, which is Himalayan salt. So you can imagine that salt in the salt cave, like echoing and reverberating 18 crystal bowls. It's beautiful. I go at least like twice a month, maybe. And it's not very expensive. It's like $25 each, or a love offering. So it's affordable.
We have like a lot of native people in the area. I should probably check and see if there's something like that. You know, actually go. I don't know if native people do the bowl.
I think mostly they do drumming, but some of those drums are really cool too.
Yeah.
You know, they get you into a hypnotic or trance-like state as well. You can get them to the bowls or the drumming. I love drumming.
I'd love to combine them both, you know.
Yeah.
I'm always about trying to make my own thing going on.
Why not? You know, maybe that's a business for you, where you could like sell the music.
Yeah.
Because you're into music, you know, that's your gift. I'm into music. We're just not doing music right now.
Yeah, I love music. I want to do it more, but you know, it's like
this is more priority.
Yeah, definitely. It is beautiful, though. I love music and art and everything. It's like I've always wished I could clone myself into 3 people so I could do.
Yeah, but maybe you are on different dimensions. You know, one of
Right.
you's doing music, one of you's doing art, and the other one's here doing this. You know.
That's why it'd be cool. We need to go on the road, have our spiritual band. I mean, me and you can both sing. We can harmonize, and we got a
I'm terrible at
saxophone
harmony.
player.
I can sing, but you'd have to teach me the harmony. I think that's a natural, innate thing that people can do or can't do. So harmony's hard for me, but I can definitely sing, but I can't do the harmonies unless somebody teaches me what I should
It was
be singing.
always a real big thing growing up that our family always would sing in the car and at get-togethers, and it was just a big part of our life. So if we were on the road, though, we'd have plenty of time to practice. So.
Yeah, I used to sing to an 8-track, The Carpenters. We'd be driving cross country with my mom and dad. I was 11 and 12, and they had a stack of 8-tracks, but the only one I wanted to sing along to was The Carpenters, the greatest hits. Karen Carpenter. Yeah.
Great music.
Absolutely. Well, I guess that's it. I think we're at a good time now, and I hope everybody enjoyed that. It felt very light.
Jose says she can play the triangle.
Yay! The triangle.
I'll play for you. Okay. Terry has the drum. They need the drum more. So yeah, we can put together a band. I know we got a saxophone player. And any ideas you guys have, leave your comments below, or definitely shoot us an email or something, and we'll try to put things together, and we'll just
we'll get to your suggestions. We're working through them. Jose, enjoy the powwow. I'm going to be checking in with you tonight to see how it's going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So lots of love to everybody out
Lots
there.
of love.
And everybody doing this later, and we'll see you on the next 8 at 8.
Power of 8
at 8 next week. Next Saturday.
Okay, much love, everybody. Peace.
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you, Shane.
Bye-bye. Peace. And